You guys can hear, see me. Just on another Zoom where the audio was a bit tricky, but all good. Thumbs up. Excellent. Share some wins before we jump in the chat or unmute. I'm good with either. I just want to make this super informal. We always have smaller groups for these, so why not take advantage of that by actually getting everyone to participate, engage. Who's got to win? Come on.
For me, it's staying, just hitting the big five despite chaos at home with a reno and being looking after my grandkids, just kind of out of routine, but still staying on top of the big five.
Boom. Seeking solutions, not excuses, right? Boom. Like it. When is the reno due to be completed? Seems like it's been going on a while.
Well, we leave for vacation on the 30th, so it better be done by then.
Oh.
At least we're getting a kitchen sink put in. I think the kitchen sink should go in tomorrow. They're putting the countertops in. Then it's just the backsplash, so then we're done.
Oh, okay.
But
Then you
it's been
actually use it.
hell. Hell.
Yeah.
A month without a kitchen sink is hell.
I can imagine. Yeah. Where do you, everything happens in the bathroom sink? That's no fun.
Laundry tub.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't have one of those, so lucky me to. We've
Yeah.
got some wins in the chat. Worked out 3 times per week, Linda. Nice job. Oh, head of the game. We're only on Wednesday. Weight loss and tracking on target. Kirsten. Hitting cap 15 days in a row. Holy. There you go. Big win, Sheila. What's your secret? Share in the chat. Trying to figure that one out myself. Anyone else? All good? Then we're going to try to map out the next little bit here in advance. It's always helpful. I don't think we have any of our American members on here, but they have Thanksgiving upcoming. But for most of us, it's going to be December. That's the challenging month on this side of the border. So that's what we're going to focus on. All right. I don't like how this looks. Hopefully that's full screen now. Okay. All right. 8-week roadmap to Christmas. Here we go. Although it's technically including Christmas, those 8 weeks, but 7 weeks sounded dumb. So we're going with 8 weeks. So this is how I usually recommend people do in advance is break down the holiday season meals and days versus regular days. So obviously there's some, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve are going to be off plan. I would encourage that. New Year's Eve, potentially New Year's Day. So that's 4 days, but then maybe you have a staff holiday party or something. So you've got to kind of figure out the days that are going to be a bit of a roadblock for you and plan around those. Okay. When you do this exercise, you realize, well, there's probably 23 days still this month where I can make progress. And it becomes enlightening just in that regard alone. So the goal of any month is to aim for 24 days of hitting your gap steps, walking. Those are the same thing. Water, I meant to say. And your workouts, right? So 80% is roughly that 24 to 30-ish days per month. So that gives you an opportunity to have a few days that aren't perfect. And the obvious ones I already mentioned, but maybe there's a couple more X's you can kind of plan around. And then it's about like figuring out what's realistic for you. I always suggest prioritizing protein and produce at these meals, even if at someone else's house. Like fill up on that first, then indulge as you see fit. You're likely just going to indulge less because you've filled up on the really filling foods, right? Not rocket science here. But make sure you have some flexibility. You don't want to go into this thinking you're going to be perfect because it's one thing to avoid temptation at home. It's not in the house. To resist when it's right in front of you, a bigger challenge, right? So it's about just portioning, planning, and being sensible about it. So once we shift into December, I wouldn't make this determination yet. November is pretty clear sailing for most of us, hopefully, on this side of the border. But there's an argument to be made that maintenance is a win over the holidays and not trying to obsess about, I got to lose a pound a week because that's the pace I'm on, when realistically, most adults gain weight during that time. So maintaining is actually well ahead of the masses, right? So that's something to consider is once you get closer to and your weeks get crazy, okay, what's maintenance look like? And we can have a conversation one-on-one in that case, what what your food intake should look like, what your workouts can realistically look like to maintain. It's a lot less than you think. Okay. So this is the plan starting today, is to stay consistent. Nothing changes in November, hopefully. And then plan ahead for those holiday indulgences or travel or meals with family. And then ideally that week between Christmas or Boxing Day and New Year's Eve, we're trying to get back on to the wagon a bit, because too often that whole week can turn into a nonstop feeding fest of leftovers, skipped workouts, and then you feel sick, and it really makes it hard to get back on track. So somewhat in that week, assuming you're at home, is trying to strike a balance and then take a break again New Year's Eve. Okay, so some general tips: load up on water, plan your meals and schedule in advance, because it's going to be a little bit off what you typically would see, I imagine, scheduling wise. And then the age-old 80-20 rule, enjoy without going overboard. I was very very gung-ho when I made this. You've got this. Consistency over perfection is key. So that's the message here, is to plan ahead but enjoy, because consistency over perfection is key. There you go. And I believe that's it. Awesome. Okay. Any questions on what I've just shared? Can we help you navigate something in particular? What do we got? Diane? Harder to find the unmute on the phone.
Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got 7 events between now and the end of November, so December is going to be quiet.
Oh.
So I've only got a couple of events around Christmas time, so I think I'm going to do
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people tend to do the corporate stuff this month.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
everyone's in December. Yeah. So same rules apply. Is
Yeah.
trying to plan in advance. If you know the menu, great. Then you can actually kind of build your day around it, but you may not. And that makes it a little trickier. Do you have kind of a plan in your head at this point? What?
Well, I know at these events, it's always either chicken or roast beef.
Mm-hmm.
And if they serve roast beef, I just eat the vegetables. I'm not a meat fan. So sometimes it's salmon, but rarely.
Right. Yeah. Convention center, they have their go-tos, right?
Yeah.
They give people 2 or 3 options, and then
I know. Yeah. Yeah, it's the desserts that I wish they'd leave it off the table.
As they roll it around, can you say no thanks? I don't know. I think I've been to a few events where it's kind of awkward, but I'm okay, thanks. Easier said than done.
So I think I'll be okay in December, except for around Christmas, Christmas Day and Christmas Eve.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pack some protein in your pocket. Not a chicken breast. I advise against that. I've made that mistake before. It's an awkward conversation with the bouncer or the security. No need to go that extreme. They have better options these days.
Yes.
That are a little more perishable. Excellent. Good stuff. Good luck. Anyone else? Questions on this? I did forget to mention that I have a little challenge cooked up, but I have a couple details to sort out on that with a tracker, a daily tracker, and those who complete the tracker get entered to win some stuff. So it's all around the Big 5 habits, but just another way to reinforce it. So I'll mention that Monday's email. I don't think it's quite ready to unveil today. Who else has a question? Go ahead, Beth.
I'm just wondering, I realized I signed up for the Christmas challenge and I'm already in the other challenge. Like, how many challenges can you be in at one time?
Yeah, I think I put a footnote on that. This is sort of for people who missed out on that one or weren't ready to do that. However, if you're gung-ho, there's going to be some overlap in terms of points, but a little different focus with this. So it might still be beneficial. The tracking piece is the add-on. That it's more or less what you're doing already, but it's just another way to reinforce it. So you can decide closer to. I'll kind of mention the details of it, and then you can decide once I have it worked out. Not fully worked out yet, but a few people were asking that weren't in on that one. Oh, can we cook up something to keep us focused over the next bit? So wish is my command. Okay, Abby, anything to add on this? I know you're lurking there. Experienced pro in this area.
I mean, as far as keeping track of on the holidays, around the holidays.
Yeah, especially in light of, you've got Thanksgiving now too, and we do have some American clients that will be watching this on replay. So some suggestions for them potentially.
Yeah, I think that you have to get over the mentality of like the holidays are not 2 months. The holidays are like, a couple days, and I think that if you stay diligent, and it's what we do most of the time, what matters more than some of the time. So really putting the gas to the pedal on the day, like a random Tuesday during the holidays, like just do your thing, and then just kind of adjust around those specific events, etc. I just think people get in trouble with treating, like I said, the next 8 weeks or up until the new year as a free for all. And it's like, no, like enjoy the holidays, the 1 or 2 days or 2 to 4 days, but stick to your normal routines on the other days when you can, I think is the best advice that I can give. Is just don't fall victim to this mentality of, oh, well, it's the holidays. So.
Yeah, our brains can convince us of anything, in the moment. And if the holidays are 2 months, like this chart suggests, everyone spikes in December. Well, Germany was really on. What have they gained? Almost 0.6%, 0.7% of their own body. That's fairly significant. So they're having some beer, obviously. But then it takes all the way until April to come back to where they were before. So to avoid this fate is to just keep the holidays, and it's usually 3, 4, maybe 5 days over the course of 2 months, not 60 days, like Abby said. So I think that's the big takeaway from this call, is to try to have that routine in place on the days you don't have a very special event or something, right? All right. Any other questions on this? General questions? Floor is yours, no? Go for it. We got 2 hands raised. We'll go with Diane, sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's really difficult during the December in particular, because I work at 2 different offices, and of course everyone wants to bring in treats and everything, Christmas treats, and so that's where you really have to be strong and just say thank you, but no thanks, because it goes on day after day after day in December.
Yeah, you're bang on with that. The office peer pressure can be another challenge. We've talked about it on these calls before. And I think some of it is just them trying to get it out of their own house. Everybody else, right? Otherwise they'll eat it. So I get that. It's not easy. Beth, did you have something on that? Or just
Well,
in
yeah,
general?
I was just, and I apologize, Diane. I was going to say, oh, well, other than these special events, but then I forgot because I'm not, I work from home when I am working on contract. I semi-retired 6 months ago. But thinking about what Abby said, that just reframed it in my head about that really any of those holiday gatherings are no different than any other night out during the rest of the year. We just have more of them leading up to the actual days off and family time together. So that's what I'm going to try to do, is just focus on, it's just another evening out where I've got to still try to work around it and think about that one evening rather than, oh my God, I've got 8 of them coming up.
Yeah, you're right.
The mindset of it is everything, right? If we approach it that way, we're more likely to be successful. If we approach it the way, oh, everyone else is imbibing and overindulging, so I can too, then obviously it becomes a self-fulfilling thing. At the same time, there may be merit to doing that here and there and not stressing about it and getting back on track the next day. It's that compound, like 2 weeks of making the wrong choices, that sets us back so far. So don't be like the rest of the world, according to that chart. All right. Any final comments?
Can I make another comment?
Yes, that's what we're here for.
I just I find it amazing that, you know, people always say you can't lose another pound. You look fine. Stop worrying about it. You shouldn't lose any more weight, yada, yada, yada. I know what I need to do, but it's trying to get other people to understand that there's still a long way to go, plus maintenance and everything else. But I guess if they haven't been on, I have a lot of skinny friends, if they haven't been on any type of diet, they don't understand. It's hard to explain, but
Yeah, I love that when people push their own beliefs onto you, right? It's about what you want and how you feel and where you feel your best, and
Yeah.
you versus you. But it's so hard to not get influenced by friends, family who feel like they're saying the right things in our best interests. There's two lines of thought. There's people that are unhealthy but want you to kind of be at their level so they feel better about where they're at. And then there's some like your friends who are kind of always naturally leaner. They may not be as healthy internally as it looks because they're getting away with it
you're right.
because
Right.
of
Yeah.
metabolism. But those people are not my friends either because they have it too easy and I'm envious, but none of those people are on this call because they don't need it. There you go. Good comment. I like that. So what's your response then, Diane? Like what works to get them off your back? Like,
Me?
yeah.
Well, you know, I can show them my closet with all the small sizes and I used to get rid of them. That's one thing I do. No, I just say, you know what? I've still got the clothes maybe look slim, but I'm not underneath there. I still got some gut punches, everything else I'm working on. So they always back off, but
Yeah.
they don't.
I always say like tell people that you're not on a diet, like say you're in a health challenge or something. Because there's just this mentality around a diet where it's instantly you shouldn't be doing that. Go ahead, Linda.
Yeah, I get comments like that too because I'm tall. And
Yes.
well, you know, you look so good. And I'm like, well, you know what? You've never seen me naked.
Yeah,
That gets them off your back.
I've
Well
used that.
played. I like it. Go ahead, Beth.
Sorry, I'm talking so much here, but it was so funny, Diane, because I just had that question a couple of weeks ago, saying you don't need to lose anymore. And I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, well, you haven't seen me beneath the clothes. But also, the friend said, when are you going to stop eating so strictly? I'm like, what do you mean strict? Like, I don't think this is strict. Like I'm not starving myself or something. And then I realized I didn't know what to say. And I realized afterwards that I should have said, sorry to tell you this, but this is the way I'm going to eat the rest of my life. And you should be
Frankly, it should
too.
be
I
the
think
way
that's what they were.
it should be the
Yeah.
normal way to eat, right? Fueling our body with the right things in the appropriate amounts. And that's considered abnormal, which is bizarre, right? In a world where excess and processed foods are the norm. Unfortunately, keep fighting the good fight. That's all you can do. Not much you can really say in those moments, except thanks, but no thanks. Martha, you unmuted? Did you have something?
I was just gonna say, I mean, for me, I'm not changing my lifestyle for anybody but me. I don't really care what anybody else thinks. I don't care, and I will tell people that, like, I don't care what you think. It's not about you. It's about me. Like, that I don't know. And I know I kind of brought this up on the last call, and a lot of times the person that's worst for it in my life is my mother. And I'll just say, like, Mom, it's not about you, it's about me. So I really don't care what other people think about how I choose to live my life and what I'm doing with my life. I feel good and I'm happy, and that's what matters to me. So, don't care. Maybe
Mic
that's
drop.
not that, exactly. I just don't. So, anyway.
I think that's the right way to live, frankly. Yeah. Less
But
stress. You got enough to stress about.
I focus on the health and the exercise. That was so great about this program more than anything else. I mean, I make sure that they understand that it's not just cutting back on meals. There's all sorts of things like the protein, the carbs, and the exercise and everything else.
100%. And that's really where we want everybody to shift their perspective on this, is that you're not just doing it to get into a smaller pant size. Those are nice residual benefits, but it gives you so much more in other areas. And we preach on that a lot, but it's important to focus. And I think that shift eventually happens where you start to realize, oh, this is giving so much to my life. I keep doing it even if the weight doesn't move because X, Y, Z. And those reasons are different for everybody, but I know my list, and very little has to do with the weight on the scale at this point. Okay, anything else on that point? All is good this week? Dialed in? Good. If you came late, there was a quick presentation on how to navigate the next 8 weeks, so I can send that off to you, or I'll post the replay actually in the app and review it that way. Otherwise, keep plugging away. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Mitch.
Good rest
Bye,
of the day.
everybody.
Cheers.